welcome to midweek Wardy's Waffle. Got an extra one in this week, got a fair bit going on, getting ready for harvest. You can see Tom and Ruben in the background just doing last final checks to the combine. In this update, we're looking at slug pelleting the stewardship areas because we've got quite a bit of damage in those. We're also moving the last of last year's wheat up into the bins, so we're doing that. And also we are continuing rape storage. We've nearly finished. We've just got a few more loads to go in and then we're all done. Anyway, let's crack on with this week's update. Not very long, only about 15 minutes long. Next one will be on Thursday night as well, because hopefully we'll be starting combining on Thursday. We're just loading some scrap up that came from the stuff at my father's house that we burnt when we cleared his house out. And it's actually just at the top of the hill. You can just see it through the trees there. There's some new people moved in, and I've been a few times and they've got plans for it, I think, but yeah, it's good to have somebody living in it. But this is the scrap, and there's all beds and furniture and stuff that we couldn't sell or people didn't want, and it hadn't passed any fire regs, so, or hadn't got the latest certificate, so we burnt it. Now it's going in the scrap trailer, and it will go to the scrap yard with the rest of the stuff. While we're here, Tom's just spotted a bit of wheat that's sprouted. Luckily we haven't got much flat wheat, a little bit here and some overlaps, but when you look here, where is it? There we go. Look at that growing through in the ear. It's just disaster when that happens. All the quality's gone. Obviously that's very dry. Sorry, very wet, that ear. That's why it's sprouting. And when you combine it, that will all get knocked off, and obviously it's not dry enough to combine. It's quite moist, that is. But when that happens, that's the quality gone, and that is the only concern with this year's wheat harvest. And just looking at some of these other ears, you can see they're not sprouted, so they're quite nice there. That's good. Actually, just showing you something else, my thumb. You can see the nail came off the other day. Doesn't hurt anymore, looks a bit gruesome, but it'll be fine when it starts to grow back. It's Monday morning. It's not the best start to the day. Lovely sunny start for the weather, which is fantastic. Blue skies. Lorry here waiting to tip rape, but we've got the elevator here in the shed because it won't start. And I thought we'd have one of the electricians maybe would be at the house, which is just through there. For those of you who know about the location, it's there. Thought we'd have some of you, sorry, one of the electricians would be here. But he's not, so we're going to have to ring him up to see if we can get this elevator going. Just those of you who I had a comment the other day saying that why don't we use elevator for the rape, and I said because it's too expensive. I thought they meant elevators in the sheds, in the shed roof. This elevator, you can see it is quite old. It belongs one of the guys we contract farm for William, and we just use it for filling over the panels and of the rape store and our other wheat stores, and we also use it in William's sheds when we're filling Williams up near the door as well. But it's an old Feiston elevator. I'm not quite sure what its capacity is, but for what we the few times we use it, it's great. Anyway, we've got the lorry waiting here to tip. So we're tipping on the shed floor in shed 5, because that is still only half full, rather than tipping over the panels in 3. We need about 3 more loads in that shed. You can just see why this floor got blocked in the doorway when you look. Why the grill's blocked, but we're pushing up as hard as we can get to obviously get as many tons in the shed. And the more tons we get in the shed, the more money we get for storage. So this is the view from up on the air tunnel. Nearly over the side there, but we're all right. See why you need a 10 metre or 9 metre forklift. So that far shed is nearly full. The one with the door open there, that's where we need the elevator in. And by the time this shed's full, there'll be about 2,800 tonnes in, hopefully, if we've got enough to fill it. But with everybody's rape yields being a bit lower, we're not sure whether we'll fill it or not yet. But there's still quite a bit to go, you can see there. Chris Brayley's just brought the people carrier back that we share. It's been across in Yorkshire somewhere to Steam Rally, I think. And looking at the wheels, you can see it's been in a bit of mud, but apparently they closed it because it was so wet. Anyway, we've got a visit on, I think it's Wednesday evening. We've got local group Rotary Club from Sleaford coming on Wednesday evening. You might remember from video the other day on Sunday that we've got some slug damage in the stewardship areas. This is just one of them, and in fact I can just have a look here. You can see, there we go. So the shredding of the leaf there, that is all damage from slugs. So we're going to get this one pelleted. This is the Polaris Ranger we've got. Left the sprayer tank on and the engine, just taking the boom off. Got the slug pelleter on the back here, and we're using ferrous phosphate. You can see there, sorry, ferric phosphate. That's what we're using. We can't use metaldehyde now, so we're using ferric phosphate, and it's going on at about 2 kilos a hectare. But it's quite ironic that we've got these areas in the ground for wildlife and the environment, but we're having to put slug pellets on things. But without the slug pellets, this area that we're actually looking to help wildlife and feed wildlife this winter, this area wouldn't survive. So it's always been my pet hate that a lot of these areas, they open up and allow blackgrass and other weeds in. You can see here there's a huge amount of weeds we don't really want here. Got brome and blackgrass patch there, some more there dotted around. This is what we've actually planted, and you can just see the rows down there. If you look, the rows are about 20 inches apart. You can see some more just here, and yeah, we've got a huge amount of grass weeds here and broadleaf weeds. You can see they're growing. So what we're going to do next year is we're going to, because this is only in for 1 year, this crop. Next year the one we put in will be 2 years. We're going to cultivate this really early in April, as soon as it's dry enough after the spring. Because look here, the amount of grass weeds there that we really ought to be round-upping off, but we can't, because we'll be round-upping off half the area we want to keep. So we're going to get this worked early next year, and then spray these off 2 or 3 times with glyphosate and try and clean them up before we plant the actual crop that we're looking to plant and help wildlife. So this is the control panel for the slug applicator, so we just need to switch it on. You can just see in the window got some figures, not very clear. RPM, that's it, up to 3,000. There we go, you can see very well. Let's give it a go. So that's got this plot done. You can just make out the pellets if I can get right way for the sun. There's one in there, another one there, and a few more there. They dot about. So we'll come back tomorrow and hopefully we'll see some dead slugs. Now I've just come to this plot on the top of the hillside near the village. You can see the rows here stand out a lot better when you look down there, and then also that angle there. So we'll get this pelleted because they can soon wipe it out, and get this done and then give us a chance to establish. But you can see here the slugs even here. There you go, look at that stripping of the leaf there. Makes a right mess, slugs can do. We've got a bit of wheat left over from last year. There's already a few hundred tonnes gone up to the farm. This is what's left, and it going into the bins up at the other farm. And this might turn out to be a bit better price than what we're selling this year's at, or what we end up, because this was harvested last year. It's a variety called Skyscraper, so it could attract a premium, and the quality of it will be really good because the bushel weight's high and moisture's low, it's cooled and everything. So we'll see how we get on selling it, but it's gone up to the farm in bins. It'll be about, when we're finished, probably 500 tonnes that should have been sold earlier, but the market was dropping and dropping and dropping, and I thought it can't drop any lower. And what did it do? It kept going lower, and I didn't sell it, and I've missed the boat. So we'll see how we can get on selling it this year. I've just got into another one of these plots in a different area of the farm, and this has really been hammered by slugs, but also flea beetle as well, because there are some brassicas in this mix. You can see there, that plant there, all the ends chewed away, holes in it as well, been really decimated. Some of these other ones as well, see there, some holes and chewings in there. And on the edge of that one, just under there. So pellets, there's a pellet, blue. So see if this could do some good and kill some of these slugs. Just out having a look at 1 or 2 wheat fields that look like soon getting ready. Doesn't look too bad up the field, a little bit of laid here. And then of course some of the headlands. This one's prime example, not brilliant at all because they were wet when they were drilled in November. And then of course we've got water here. You have to be really careful this area. Getting stuck with the trailer. We have done in the past in this part of the field. I seem to remember going right down with the trailer, so we're going to have to keep out of this area completely. So this is the farm where we brought the wheat to, that we haven't sold and gone into the bins. So this pit holds about 18-20 tonnes, that's all. So we've tipped the last load in there, so we'll just nip inside and have a look in the bins. Tom and Ruben are up top just filling the last 2 bins. So this is inside the shed, so the grain comes out the pit right down in there, down to the bottom of this elevator shaft in the ground, and then up to the top, and then in that grey bottom under there, along the top into the bins. So we'll just nip up there and have a look and just show the bins and the pull. This dryer, by the way, we are going to sell this dryer. It's only 14 tonnes an hour at 5% it takes out. It's a Vertec continuous flow, but I will be selling it via dismantles and all that. So if anybody's interested, please get in touch, but I will do a bit more on this in the winter time. So this is at the top of the bins. This is what we just brought up today. There's 12 bins up here. That one Ruben's just finishing there. When they're dead full all level across, they're about 45 tonnes a bin. But there'll be a bit less with having little gaps here. See the dust on it from filling that other, but it's nice and cool. It's all cooled over the winter. It will keep really well up here. We'll put the fans on, just keep it right, but it will cool them really well. Just going to move that one across, fill this bin up. Back outside, when we empty the bins, we swing that spout out, reverse the elevators and undo the slides at the bottom of the bins, and it goes back up to the top behind there and comes out and drops into the lorry. Got another lorry just tipping on the elevator. Ruben's just coming around to push it up. In the weigh bridge here, this is the spreadsheet we use to log it all. You can see at the minute in store with 2,396.5 tonnes. Ruben's pulled the elevator out and now just pushing up over the panels, try and get much in as we can. Just moving the things out this shed to get at these spray cans. I'm going to take those to recycling centre near Lincoln this afternoon. This is the Unipress, the Simba Unipress. It's only got 1 line of DD rings at the back, you can see, whereas the Cultipress we have has 2. This is the view from the top of the heap. Got the lorry there tipping on the elevator, you can see they're coming off, but when the shed's nearly full, it soon runs down, nearly runs over, so you have to keep pushing up quite regular. You see, amazing how much more you can get in. And then we have to put, when it's full, on top here we've got some motors to put on top of these pedestals. And there you go, right the way down to the floor, and then the widen out down at the bottom with the grill on, and then it sucks the warm air out. We have to keep them going for a long while. It'll be Christmas time until we get this cooled down, because we can only cool them properly at night. So there's the motors on there, and that's leant over a bit, so that's why we've got ropes up. You see, just see some of that blue rope. We've got ropes on all of them. You can see here to the roof, just to support the weight of the motors, because it's a job to keep these tubes dead vertical. So that's it for this midweek update. Quite a short one. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. As I said at the start, next one will be on Thursday evening. We'll do an update on that. Hopefully we'll have some harvesting done of some wheat. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Thursday.